first of a Turkish top diplomat to Egypt in a decade. And we have seen the press conference in which our foreign minister said that there is a will to restore relations. Let me take your reading to the visit of today and to the statements of the top diplomat.
I barely hear you, but anyway, I am happy with this development of our relations with Turkey. I want to draw the attention that we never cut the relation with Turkey. We just called the ambassador to come to Cairo. So we have a full embassy in Ankara, where we have what we call chargé d'affaires. Same thing of the Turkish embassy in Cairo. Another good performance here that we never let our economic and commercial relations to be affected by the political differences. That's why still Turkey among our main trade partners and even our main investors in Egypt. So this visit is another step forward in order to bring our relations to normal, parallel to the efforts coming with Iran. So
yes, Your Excellency,
rearranging the house, we are rearranging our political relations.
Your Excellency,
I cannot hear you at all.
Let me read into statements by both sides today.
I don't hear you. I can't hear you.
I'll raise my voice as much as possible. Do you hear me now?
No, there is a problem in the line. It's not your voice.
So, okay. So we'll try to read. We'll try to read into the statements of both top diplomats today. Foreign Minister Shukri said that Egypt or there is a political will to restore ties. On the other hand, we have heard the Turkish Foreign Minister saying we'll do our best not to rupture ties again with Egypt. So yeah, these were the situation of or the statements said in this press conference. Tell me your reading about the statements or the press conference that was held.
That express our will, both countries, in order to restore their relations and to bring it back to normal and even to very friendly. And this is what we expect. Because when we were in a problem with Turkey, our declaration was very moderate. We said that Turkey is, after all, an Islamic brotherly country, that we have huge Egyptians from Turkish origin. There are Egyptians in Turkey with Egyptian origin also. So I always give a good example to bring my point of view ahead to our audience, that Ambassador Shamsuddin Arif Mardin, who was the chief of protocol in the Foreign Office in Turkey, his brother was under secretary of our Ministry of Agriculture. Two brothers, one still having the Turkish nationality, and the other is Egyptian. And you can see this in many thousands of families in Egypt and in Turkey. So Turkey, after all, is a dear brother in the Islamic group. Same thing with Iran. Maybe Turkey is much more closer. And we have watched many visits like that. 1 year ago, we received the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, and he met our Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Hamdi Louza. But the situation was not ameliorated since then. I think the meeting between our president and the Turkish president in the last meeting, it was good, and it gives a sort of a good hand, a good push to this step, which I am expecting that it will end by sending our ambassador to Ankara, receiving the Turkish ambassador again in Cairo, inshallah.
Actually, our foreign minister said that both sides discussed the returns of ambassadors of both countries. Let me here take that this visit was preceded by many visits of Turkish delegations to Egypt, but also preceded by the move Egypt carried out with Your Excellency. Egypt has always stood beside all countries in catastrophes, and we've seen the devastating earthquake that took place in Syria and Turkey, and definitely Egypt was one of the first to send aid. So first, let me see or take your reading to how or how the constant policy or politics or diplomacy of Egypt has reflected on this scene. Definitely Egypt has constant principles and constant diplomacy that it has been carrying out with through all the history of the Egyptian diplomacy. So you're reading.
This is very important also, and it was very wise step that our president talked to both the president of Syria and the president of Turkey and support them, and we sent some symbolic help in whether medicine or food or whatever. And that was quite a good step from the Egyptian foreign policy. I hope that by this now, I am proud to say that we have every single country in the whole world is you can consider as a friend, and Egypt is hosting much more embassies than any country in the world in Cairo.
Yes.
This is a good example to show how our foreign policy is a story of success, that we have good contacts with everybody here and there.
Definitely.
Even with the Turkish, we have some remarks about their behavior in Syria, their behavior in North Iraq, and their behavior in Libya. All this must be discussed with all frankness in order to come to reason and to come again to strong relations with the Turkish country, because after all, they are brotherly country.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for being with us and for your input here. And now we move on to this report and we'll come back for more discussion.
Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad in the Kremlin on Wednesday for talks that focused on rebuilding Syria after a devastating civil war and efforts to stabilize the region. Assad thanked Putin for backing Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity, noting that the Kremlin's support has remained strong despite the fighting in Ukraine. The two rounds of talks between the leaders, the first one involving senior officials from both